Thank you, Dan. I'm definitely nervous about doing this kind of entertainment. I'm used to performing in front of drunk crowds everywhere. But Dan told me before the show, he said, just have fun, which is what you don't tell a comic, because if I wanted to have fun, I would have been a garbage man. So I'm Ken Napzok. I'm a recovering stand-up comic. I feel I should say that. Right? Stand-up comedy is my most favorite thing to hate. Which is to say, I love it with all my heart, and I hate myself for it. I started performing stand-up comedy on March 23rd, 2003, in the belly room at the world-famous Comedy Store. It was dark, it was dank, and it smelled like 1977 cocaine. It still does. You indeed. I started because I was told stand-up comedy, as opposed to its light, fun, more cheery counterpart sketch comedy, would better lead me to fame, respect, and a career. My voice would be heard. I just didn't realize that there was a lot of other voices out there with me. But anyways, I jumped in, I prepared my jokes, or rather began to prepare my jokes, which is one of the hardest things to do in comedy, that first set of bits, that first joke, that first organized thought. Because you spent your whole life being one of the funniest people in the room. You talk, people laugh. That's one of the reasons it's always been, and that's one of the reasons you're going to get into stand-up comedy. The other reason is you're lonely. And here you are, you're trying to focus all your humor that's been swirling around your head, all those what's the deal beats that have kind of ruled your life and filled your life. They're just waiting to be poured out of your soul and get you a half-hour special. It's all there, right for the taking. But after 5 hours of staring at a blank page, the only thing you've come up with is, do we have any cat owners in the house? And it is then that moment that you realize that stand-up comedy is not just about being funny. It is an art, it is a job, it is a purpose, it is work, it is a science, and it is most definitely a burden. And one that never goes away. No matter how many times you drive it out into the wilderness and shoot it in its dumb head, it will always come limping back to you. After one of my, side note, after one of my numerous retirements from stand-up comedy, one of my comic pals said to me in all sincerity, what makes you think you're the one that's going to get away? But back in March of 2003, that was all far off, yet to sink in. I was naive and hopeful, ready to collect my writing deal in a sitcom. Oh, so naive, so pure of heart. Side note, also when I started stand-up comedy, I had not tasted alcohol. I was sober by choice. Long story, has to do with Jesus. But now, I can name you 15 different kinds of Irish whiskey. After I managed to slug out my first set of jokes and put them on paper, I rehearsed my bits to a blank wall in my small bedroom. And I even, in the audacity of youth, I even inserted pause points where I knew the audience would be laughing. Never been on a damn stage, but I was sure I knew where they were going to laugh. In fact, when I timed my first set alone at home in my room, I inserted a spot for an applause break. You can imagine, just to be clear, I was so sure that the audience was going to break into spontaneous clapping because of their appreciation of my jokes that my set would have to be stopped. What kind of asshole is the mindset of youth? I had no idea at the time that disinterested and aloof silence of my bedroom wall was probably a more exact approximation of the audience's reaction. As it would be when I performed for a drunk, weary crowd of gamblers at a casino in the Inland Empire, so devoid of joy I feared I never would smile again. As it would be when I performed at a dive bar in Palmdale that was shut down a week after I performed there because of a double murder. And it wasn't so much the murder as it was that it had happened again. it would be when I performed at a biker bar in Corona, California, in which the rough regulars treated me like I was Pee Wee Herman trying to ask the Hells Angels to be quiet because I was trying to use the phone. As it would be when I performed at an open mic in Westwood filled with the worst kind of audience members imaginable, stand-up comics. That silent blank wall in my bedroom gave me more love as a performer than the people of Hermosa Beach one night when they seemed really angry that they had to stop their game of billiards because 6 dudes from Hollywood were about to tell them jokes about their lack of sex. That bedroom wall gave me more love than an intoxicated audience member at a show in Santa Monica that charged the stage in the middle of my set and started to fight me for the microphone. I was in the middle of a bit, and I guess it wasn't going that good. The self-loathing wasn't hitting. I was making one too many references to men are like this and women are like this, and he got up and charged the stage, and this man felt the undeniable urge to charge the stage, grab the microphone, and fight me for control. And as we battled, and it was a battle, tugging and pulling back and forth, jockeying for control of the microphone like it was that horrible knife fight scene in Saving Private Ryan. Corporal Upham's waiting on the stairwell, and he's going, shh, shh, putting the microphone into my heart. We fought, we struggled, and as I felt myself losing my grip on the microphone, I thought to myself, why do I do this? Why did I punch my way through 2 hours of traffic to get to this show tonight? A show located in a dirty bar across the street from a shabby hotel that rented rooms by the hour. Why did I sit in my room working hard on my jokes? Why did I get on stage to perform in front of 10 uninterested people, 2 of which that had been there since 3 p.m. because they just started drinking and they didn't want to leave? Why do I subject myself to the constant judgment of an audience? Why do I let my entire existence hinge on what strangers think of me in a small 7-minute chunk of time? Why? By this time, the crazed man had successfully wrestled control of the microphone away from me. It was his now, not just the microphone, but the stage time, and he didn't even have to bring people. He had the audience, he had the moment. And what did he choose to do with that moment here? This is historic. An audience member finally had the chance to be funnier than the person on stage. This is historic. This was history. What did he do with that moment? Well, he put his mouth over the microphone, not up to it, over it, and he said, "Bah." And he got more laughs than me. But eventually I even laughed. He gave me back the microphone, satisfied and completely convinced that he had made the right life choice. I finished my set, and I actually at one point made them laugh. He had successfully loosened up the audience. He was my opener, as it turned out. And all was forgiven. And I realized right then that this is what it's all about. The laughter, not just getting laughed, not just making people laugh, not just the misplaced desire to glean some sort of personal validation from making others laugh. And to be clear, that is certainly part of it. Make no mistake, nobody in their right mind would ever subject themselves to this. If you pick up a microphone, you're already lost. But this is about creating a moment, sharing a thought, expressing a point of view, and taking something from your life and making it a shared experience. And why a comic may still leave the stage wondering from the depths of his soul if he was good enough. And there's that nasty validation thing again. This stand-up comedy is about pure, unadulterated moment of making another human feel joy. Of making them forget about their bad day, their bad week, their tough life. If you perform comedy long enough, at one point someone will say to you after a show, "Thanks for making me laugh. I needed that." Not I wanted to laugh or was good to laugh. I needed that. And it is no mistake that the first emotion people want to feel following a tragedy of any kind at any level seems to revolve around laughter. I just want to laugh again, they say. It felt good to laugh again. And we get to make that happen. That's why we do it, and that's why I love it. Flashback to that first night, March 23rd, 2003, at a packed-to-the-walls bedroom room. My first set, the one that would be followed by years of struggles and doubt, the one set that would be followed by many, many failures. Flashback to that first set, my first set as a stand-up comedian. And I killed. I destroyed. I even got an applause break. I got a laugh at my first punchline, the first one I ever wrote, and every other until the end of my set some 7 minutes later. Now in the years since, I tried to kill myself twice. I've been in therapy for 5 years, going on more. I've gone to bed some nights so convinced of my failure as a human being that I've gone beyond tears to just resignation. But seriously, it's okay. It's fine. Because I know that I've made people laugh. Even if that's the only thing, I have made people laugh. I've given my point of view, I had my voice heard, and nothing can take that away. My stand-up comedy career ended in February 2010 in front of 6 people in a bar in Oxnard. I did not receive fame, I did not receive respect, and I most certainly did not receive a career. Instead, I got a lifetime of memories, a lifetime of fulfillment, and a lifetime's worth of connection, support, and friendship. What a ripoff.